Yeah, trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, there's no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no dip.
Boom! Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Welcome back. We took a hiatus last week. We're returning to Milford. It's a three-man crew tonight. For you, this is Mike. Next to me is my numero uno, Pedro. Happy post-Thanksgiving. Happy December.
Thank you. Did you go back to Milford or no?
No, I was in Connecticut. We can talk about our Thanksgivings in a minute. Case, happy Thanksgiving. Welcome back. Did you have a nice holiday?
I did. Thank you, Mike.
You're very clean shaven.
I was in Connecticut for Thanksgiving Day, New Hampshire, Friday to Sunday.
And
It's
Pete,
called Entering Connecticut.
how was your Connecticut visit?
Mine, quick. It was all right. It was fun. My sister's a blast. She's a good. Yeah. But it was all right. How was yours? I saw June was hanging out.
Happy Thanksgiving, Kate DeLuca. My parents came before Thanksgiving, so they're here for a couple days. Took Goomba to trivia, A+ trivia guy. Went to see Wicked, and then Thanksgiving Day. This is what happened. Thanksgiving Day, we were going to Sheila's parents. We spent like 2 hours there. It was the greatest Thanksgiving of all time. We showed up. They were like, "Hey, we're going to eat early." We were like, "All right," and then everyone left. We were like, "All right, let's go home." It was the best Thanksgiving.
Wait, your parents go to Joe's?
They went to Auntie Nancy's. Joe was in Washington, D.C.
What? This is messing me all up.
Yeah, all over the place. We do the match with Joe. So when Joe's in Virginia, we're there. When the whole crew goes out for Christmas. Christmas in Massachusetts this year for the Clellies.
God.
Your parents host?
Auntie Nancy hosts.
Oh, okay.
And then we're going to the Cape.
Did you guys get your Spotify Wraps today?
No.
You don't do that at all? You go on Spotify and it shows you like what your number one song was that you listen to and like how many
I don't
minutes.
listen to music on Spotify.
Well, I listened to two podcasts, Felger and Maz and Entering Milford.
Nice. Well, all right, that ruined that. My number one song was Pretty Girls Walk Like This. I listened to that the most. Shows you my daughter is into karaoke.
That's my move right there.
I don't even know what that song is, Pete.
Yes, you do. Pretty girls walk like this.
Pretty girls walk like this.
Maybe I do.
I'm an Apple Music guy. You're a Spotify? I do Apple Music.
No, I'm a Pandora guy.
Whoa, dude.
Ooh, dating.
Yeah, I know.
You still download music on Napster?
I'll tell you what. I got hooked up to the Pandora back in 2010, and I got it in my veins. I can't get out of it. I even paid for it. I love it.
What? I didn't even know you could pay for it.
Yeah, it's like $1 a week and no commercials. It's the best deal on the internet.
Good old BitTorrent DeLuca. That's who we have on the podcast right now, Case.
I love it. I have all my lists all the way back to like 2010.
Jeez. I do Apple Music. Apple Music's the way to go. I have nothing on podcast. But all right, so we missed last week. I think people missed us. I had multiple people texting me about the week. I had a lot of good banter with the league, though. I've talked to pretty much everybody in the league over the last week and a half. So we're doing something a little different. We're not going to recap the full past 2 weeks. We missed a lot. We had some booms. Pete will give us the high level. And then we're going to recap some trades. I think this is interesting, and I have a couple of good takes when we get into it. But, Pete, I'll let you take the floor. Give us the recap of what we missed the last 2 weeks. We can do a standings update if we want, and then we'll get into some trade recaps.
Honestly, before I get into the boom and stuff that happened this week, I was looking at NFL news that happened in the last 2 weeks, and I saw something interesting. Do you know Warner Brothers? They released 10 Batmobiles. So Warner Brothers Studio, they made the actual Batmobiles. They're $3 million each, and they made 10 of them. And you can like go on the road with them and drive around and everything. And guess who bought one? Joe Burrow.
No way.
Yeah, Joe Burrow bought one. What a story. I think that's probably the coolest thing to happen in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
All right. So let's recap the boom of the weeks. Mike Kaleli, week 12, scoring 166. It was a pretty terrible boom.
One of the best booms. That was one of the best booms I've ever been a part of. It was incredible.
Why? Oh, why could you beat me?
I thought I was going to lose. I was down 55 points, and Saquon went crazy. It was a great boom.
Yeah, this was the Saquon game. We don't need to relive it. 53rd place out of booms all time. We have 72 booms. This one was 53rd, so it was terrible. Mike, you're moving to first all time, though, with your second consecutive boom and your 14th all time. Congratulations.
Wow. Thanks, Pete.
Week 13 was CJ, though. He ruined the party for you. He scored 168, another terrible boom. But he is tied for 5th with 6 all time. So good for CJ, moving up the ranks. Also 4 booms this year, so most by anyone. Make a note to talk about Joe Burrow buying a Batmobile. I'm done with that. That's my week in review.
So, all right, let's do very quick before we go into the standing. Trade deadline has passed. We currently have 8 teams mathematically in the playoff hunt. And so I think that trade deadline was a little quieter than we expected because nobody's out of it. So to allow the listeners to have a peek in to where we are, we have Spates and I are going to be 1 and 2. It's a question of what the order is in the next 2 weeks. We have Lloyd is the only other over 500 team at 7 and 6. And then we have 5 teams at 6 and 7. So you've got 8 teams in the hunt, and you really had, it seems like 7 of 8 of those teams in buy mode, and people weren't selling. So I would say a little quieter than I think we expected the trade deadline to be. Agree?
Agree.
Just counting quick, 7 of 10 teams were involved in a transaction, though.
Oh, I don't know who the 3 that weren't.
3 that weren't were myself, Lloyd, and I just counted quickly. Who else is in the league? Oh, Christian.
Wow, Christian not doing anything.
Wow, 3 guys.
Yeah, they all stayed pat. I will say this, Mike. There wasn't for a lack of trying. I was actually trying to dump. Nobody was interested.
You weren't trying hard enough.
You weren't, and you weren't trying to dump assets. There was only really one guy that you were willing to dump. That
no, there's 3 guys I was willing to move, but the assets didn't line up with multiple teams. Like,
who were you trying to move? We can talk about this in retrospect. Who were you trying to move?
Oh, Evans, Kupp, and Kittle.
Wow, that's true. You did offer me 2 of those guys.
I was trying to dump all 3 of those guys, but the teams that I was communicating with, like, they're just either not interested or assets didn't line up. Like, like Spades didn't give them neighbors for any of those guys. So
you asked neighbors.
Yeah. That's what I said. Just didn't line up with so many teams in the mix. Like, my roster didn't line up well with anybody.
I offered you a trade.
Didn't line up with my unrealistic expectations.
I offered you a fair trade.
The big one?
Dude, you want to tell Pete about that one? I'm happy to talk about trades I proposed. I took a couple big runs. I took a couple big runs. You'll appreciate this, and I'll bring the pod into. I don't mind. My team's my team. I'm not doing anything else. So the moves I made, I felt like I needed one more end of season weapon to use. That's where I was trying to get. I actually was in advanced conversations with DeVito, and I was trying to bolster my quarterback room. So I was looking at DeVito, that Burrow Hill combo. He was stuck in the mud. I couldn't move him. I actually like the trade he made with Jeff. I think his package is better than mine. Not in general, but the trade package. I ended up going to my trusty numero uno. So, Pete, let's talk through your and I's. It was Tuesday night. It was a trivia. I was with my father. It was a really clean trade conversation.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking at the screen right now, if you're watching video, I have all the 4 major trades that went down during the entire thing, and it kind of kicked off with us, Mike.
It did. You guys started the domino roll.
Yeah, look at that. And I got a ton of picks. I feel like I did all right. It's hard. No one wants to give up second and first round picks. And
no.
But the guys that I got rid of, I wasn't really planning on keeping. So I was like, I was planning on keeping, but they're expendable,
So, Case, when I got Sutton, I love his schedule down the stretch, and I love having him. He made your Evans move kind of expendable for us. I didn't feel like doing anything else.
I love that move, Mike, for you. I think that's the type of guy that makes perfect sense for you.
I would have taken Evans. Why didn't you call me?
What's that?
I would have taken Evans. I got Baker. I was trying to play for a stack. Where were you? You're over there holding on to Cade Orton like it was a rare jewel.
I think I picked up and dropped that guy like 4 times.
What did you guys think of Innis? Innis had I thought a very solid. He was a very early I'm buying and I'm in. He had a rough weekend because of the McCaffrey and Mason things. But what did you think, Pete? What did you think? Was Jeff coming to you? Did Jeff call your door?
Jeff called me for, I think, one trade. Did we do one trade real quick or no? Yeah, we did. I gave him Hopkins for 2 picks, and that was pretty good. It was done rather quickly. So yeah, he just needed a little depth, and I was ready to get rid of Hopkins. So whatever. Yeah, Yeah, I think. Yeah. What was the question? Was he moving quickly? Did he do a good job? Yeah, he came up with an extra player that he did. So good for him.
Most aggressive manager by far.
By far.
Yeah.
Most transaction made, and he had to because he finally got McCaffrey back. He had to see what his team was going to do. He's on the outskirts looking in. Like,
would you guys ever go out of your way to own Christian McCaffrey in this league going forward or no?
Not anymore.
Is he the number one player in our league next year or no?
No.
Is he the number one player drafted in fantasy next year?
No.
Who is?
I think so. Saquon?
Probably Saquon.
Okay.
Or one of those wideouts, Jamar Chase.
So I'll let people into what I was. Also, I got Innes and I texted for a long time one night this weekend, and we had a couple of ideas, and I want to talk about what I'm going to table what Innes and I talked about because I think it's what we should be talking about momentarily about deadline disappointments. But Jeff and I were menaging, we didn't know it with DeVito. And so DeVito was dangling Burrow and Hill. And there were two offers. There were the offer that he took with Jeff, which was Pickens and Flowers. I had on the table before Pete and I made the trade, Pacheco and Jimmy Cook.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Do you think DeVito picked the right stack?
Pacheco and Jimmy Cook or Pickens and Flowers? I don't know.
Hard for me to answer. I'm not a huge Zay Flowers fan. I understand the stack, but I'm not a huge Zay Flowers fan. Like I think the Cook Pacheco give you a week-to-week higher floor than the other two, and I just think that those ceilings are too far and few between to cash in. So I'd actually probably prefer to have Pacheco and Cook. And I tend to be a little bit more wide receiver heavy, to be honest. But
I prefer the side he took. I thought DeVito made the right decision. I thought Pacheco and Flowers.
He gets a stack, so that obviously is a
stack. And I think Pickens
is a tiebreaker.
Pickens of those four has the highest upside. Pete, break the tie. You think DeVito made the right choice?
I think DeVito shouldn't have done the trade at all. I think that he was better off keeping the guys, especially because he's still in the position to like compete. And I don't know. It seems like I think he would be more likely to compete with Burrow and what's his face. I think Lamar Jackson might have hit a wall, and I think that one's going to be rough the rest of the season. I don't know. I've watched him consecutive years, and when he's cooking at this time of the year, it's great. But he's not. I don't know. He's not doing it particularly well. But anyway,
that's a good take.
Yeah, it's a great take. If you look at their rosters, Innes gets two players that are certainly higher floor players to go with his roster that he needs to fill, where DeVito, I think, took one of his core two best positional guys, and he lowered his roster's potential with Flowers and Pickens, in my opinion. Because Tyreek, I still think is above those two guys. So bad year for him.
Yeah, I think you and I viewed DeVito's roster differently. I think DeVito, you can't play two quarterbacks at the same time. I think he sold Burrow at an all-time high, and if you can project at the playoffs, the Bengals do not have a good playoff schedule, so he was going to have a hard time if he made the playoffs starting Burrow. And I think this comes back to the guy that was unequivocally the most disappointing, where how Lloyd was not in the discussion to DeVito to get Burrow, and specifically, so this is what it is. I don't get how Lloyd didn't go to Breen. If I'm Lloyd, I've got CD.
Those two are never going to talk. They don't talk.
CeeDee Lamb and Rashee Rice, they're unplayable. Why wouldn't you go big fish hunting and try to get Josh Allen from Breen? I just don't get it. Where was Dan? Where was Dan? I want to know where Dan was.
Dude, Dan, I got to say now that it's all over, Dan and I had extensive conversations. I wanted the Brown over Rice combination was what I was looking for the entire time. I talked to him about Kyler. We had conversations about the whole thing. It's just he wasn't ever interested in anything, and he thinks there's too much value in these young guys. It's too much patience.
Case, how surprised? I want to ask it two ways.
Lamb over Rice. That's what I wanted. Lamb over Rice.
He's fingering me. What are you doing? Why are you giving me the weight?
Since I'm still counting. I think we're over 100 text messages between Dan Larkin and I since last Tuesday trying to get something done over the deadline. And that also includes several GIFs or images too. Couldn't get anything lined up.
What were you trying to do though? I don't get where he was. I mean, he could still win it because I'll make the playoffs. Like, where was he?
He doesn't like any of my quarterbacks. I was trying to give him some quarterback help. I, like Pete, I was trying to dump a couple of those guys to make his week-to-week decisions a little easier, and I get Rashid Rice for next year, essentially.
Man.
And we just couldn't get the combination. The hard thing with Dan, because I'm sure he was talking to other people, because and obviously he was talking to Pete. The hard part with Dan was it was hard to get traction on sort of where he wanted to go. And I was under the assumption that he was trying to win, like now, where I think he might be looking like he's trying to win next year.
I had trouble finding out his daily schedule because when you got a hold of him, he was like a hurricane. But like after 8:00, that kid does not answer his phone, and I'm just like, hey man.
I ignored the Dan is shut off notification thing. I ignored it. It was firing at him no matter what.
Alert anyway. Yes.
I even gave him the like, hey man, I'm exhausted. Here's my last offer. I'm going to bed. Hopefully I wake up to an accepted trade.
Yeah. Well, he starts going nuts at like 5 a.m. on text messages. I'm like, I can't handle this right now.
He told me he was a bad texter. He said he was a bad texter. He openly admitted that.
I had a nice phone call with Dan a couple weeks ago. What did you think you were ever close, Case? I actually think you have a quarterback who could have helped him win the title, but
I thought we were close. Like we sort of started off at like a big package, and then we whittled it down to like a small more fringe move deal.
What was the trade you thought was going to happen? Go. There's no trading happening.
I thought the big one was going to go through.
What'd you offer?
I offered all of them, quarterback and all three of those guys.
For what?
For Rice and one of the two young guys.
I don't know who the two young guys are.
JSN and Thomas.
Oh, wow! Surprised he didn't do that.
And I even got to the point where I was willing to ship him off my 26 first rounder, like because I don't value first rounders as much as he does. Like I was even willing to throw in a first rounder for him. He couldn't get him to come around.
I don't know if I would have done that if I was Lloyd.
Well, that was in my side. If I got those two guys, like to put with Jefferson and Amon-Ra, I would have left the season happy. And
if he had come back to you, Case, and said, "I'll give you Rashid Rice for Mike Evans and Jordan Love," would you have done that?
Yeah, 100%.
That's like to me, that's the trade.
100%. We didn't get off the ground much with quarterbacks. He wasn't interested in any of my quarterbacks. I think
Jordan Love. If I
want any of them.
You knew, Case, I wanted Jordan Love. I think he has a great schedule down the stretch. If I hadn't gotten Kyler, I would have gone for the Jordan Love, Mike Evans package for you.
Did you see who's starting on Thursday night this week against Lloyd?
No, Jordan Love.
How about the fact, like, this is something that Pete would do that Lloyd hasn't graduated to yet in the Fantasy 101, is I'm playing Lloyd this week. He could have took away my roster just to guarantee himself a win and 8 if he made any sort of trade with me.
Wow.
He just was fading off into the.
All right, Mike, are you okay?
I'm fine. I don't know why this keeps happening. I'm here. I'm not even here. I can't even see myself. It doesn't even make any sense.
It's might be the worst. It's
might be the worst. Episode 115. Come on.
Hold on. Hi, Dad.
I wouldn't mind, but you've never changed your position. Like you've always just. I've moved apartments 3 times, and I've never gone out of focus.
I'm back. I put it back to high def. I took the screen out. So the other, I'll bring in. I was trying to get Nico Collins.
Oh, he's awesome.
There you go.
Breeny's got a stronghold on the entire Texans wide receiving staff now, essentially.
I offered Breen and Case. Pete, tell me if you like this offer. Both of them. One for Justin Jefferson, one for Nico Collins. I offered Keon Coleman, James Cook, T. Higgins, 2 first-round picks.
You didn't give me 2 firsts.
1 first-round pick. I would have given you 2 if you asked.
Somewhat of a poo-poo platter.
Dude, T. Higgins is 24-year-old. You got, I don't know. It's a good offer, dude. 3 young receivers
for just one player. For just one player, yeah, T. Higgins in a first. But the other players are really garbage. Like, I wouldn't hang your hat on that. But, like, T. Higgins in a first, I'd be like, okay, cool. Keon Coleman sucks, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about. What's the other guy?
James Cook.
He's going to lose his job. They're both on the same team. That doesn't help you very much either.
Yeah. And I already have Cooper. Not that matters. The hang up, Mike, I think is like we all if we can all grab one of those marquee players.
You need a marquee.
Once you have one, like you try to hold on to it for like I had Jefferson one year, and I actually traded him away to Pete, and I was lucky to get him back. Like I'm kind of like I don't know if I want to let him go again. You know,
let him go to me. You could always get him back.
He's 25 years old.
True. Send him to Pete.
Yeah, if you give him to Pete, just trade him.
Exchange program.
Yeah, we'll have an open agreement.
Yeah, I think it was the exact same players back and forth too. It was Eckler for Jefferson, Jefferson for Eckler, right back.
Did anyone hear from D'Adarian?
Yes.
He takes over for DeVito in terms of worst trades offered ever. Like,
he
thinks that third-round picks have a ton of value. Like, hey, can I have Amon-Ra St. Brown? I'll give you a second rounder.
He was the only one to actually like openly insult me. And I go, okay, I'll leave you alone. I forget what offer I gave him. It was for Wilson. But he like flat out just said, like, why would I do that trade? Wilson's better than the guy you're getting. I forget what it was. I forget what I was trying to do. But anyway, he was just like giving me a straight up like, why would I ever do that? I go, wow, interesting. Okay, have a good one.
He would text me an offer and like I wouldn't respond to it, but he probably said like I read it and I woke up. Then he like 5 minutes later, it's like, sounds like you're interested. he fills in the gaps to like get you another to bring you back to it. You know what I mean?
He will come out of left field with a message that just goes, offer with a question mark. And you go, it's like a late night, hey.
The offer's so bad it doesn't even warrant a response. But he's like, oh, sounds like you're thinking about it.
It's the D'Adarian you up. It's the D'Adarian you up. You up, Pete?
You up? Hey, you up? I'm like, hey, baby, offer?
All right.
What are we doing?
Do you think the league minds that we talk about like what trades we almost have with people? I don't think people care.
I actually thought that was
talking about them if they. Yeah, I don't like talking about them if we're still allowed to trade.
That's what I'm saying. After the deadline, I think fair game.
Yeah, whatever. Talk about whatever you want. It's America. It's Trump's America.
That's right. Make fantasy great again, guys. That's what the three of us have been doing for 2 years. Anything else on the trades?
No, I thought it was a good deadline. It sucked that I didn't make it, but it was good to see teams moving. Like I said, 7 out of 10 teams making a move. That's probably a pretty active deadline.
Do you know that "Make America Great Again" was Bill Clinton's slogan in 1991?
No way.
History repeats itself.
Just throwing that out there. Are the Hills alive? How's it going?
Going great, dude. Going great. She's flying around here. She's in the chorus. We have a Christmas concert this weekend at Corral.
Jesus, this girl's singing she's gonna sing her voice out, man. You gotta protect her. She's gonna be like Adele.
Your tickets available, Mike? We'll come down.
Yeah. Oh, might be sold out. You want to go to Carnegie Hall? We're going to Carnegie Hall in May.
Yeah.
May's tough for me.
What kind of offer is this?
You want to come?
Yeah, I'll go. It was sold out though. I'm not gonna pay.
Well, Carnegie Hall is not sold out. This weekend sold. It's a small theater. All right, let's talk week. What are we? Week 15?
Yeah.
14. All right. So game of the week is a pretty good one. There's only 2 guys who can get the 1 seed. You've got both of them playing this weekend. I think if Spates wins one of the next 2 weeks, he's in. I can't. I have to break the tie. If Spates wins, he's the 1 seed. So let's get the preview of what could be the deciding factor. Who's the top seed? Number 1 versus 2, Spates Cloudy. Let's go, Pete.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is like the Royal Rumble before WrestleMania. This is like the pre-main event. It's probably the biggest match of the year. Mike, you've outscored CJ 4 out of the last 5 weeks. It took a CJ boom last week to finally outscore you. So you've had the edge on him for over a month now. This is a big one for the Brian Casey title. So you guys, the winner is going to be in the front row seat. Mike, next week you got Breen. CJ next week has Casey. So CJ could beat Brian Casey to claim the Brian Casey Award. How poetic. The last time you guys played was in week 5. Mike, you won 173 to 124. That was week 5 when Saquon was on a bye. He's not on a bye this week. So I'm going to give Mike with the boom.
I got a little lucky. Here. This is a week Spates is loaded with buys.
I think you're gonna boom, but I want to make a note that the number of teams that are on bye weeks has increased the margin of how your team is stacked, but everyone else is so much worse that I do think that you will boom easily.
I think it's so dumb. Why are there so many buys in the 14th week of the season?
It's ridiculous.
When they went to 17 weeks, they pushed everyone back
Why?
It kills fantasy football. Honestly, it's this end of the year. This many teams on bye, like rosters are decimated.
Yeah, and there's injuries. I don't get it. Anyway, whatever.
Kills it.
Anyway, I think Mike is my boom.
Go. I'll take that. But do you want just boom? We just single superlative?
Yes. Well, I mean, don't get carried away over there, buddy.
I'm just asking the question. Last time we were here, I triple superlative Case, and he lost. So I had all three of them blew up in my face with Case.
I'm glad we skipped last week, and I think I said that if I lost that week, I don't deserve to be
there you go.
in the playoffs. And here I am on the brink of being in the playoffs.
You did. I think you said I don't deserve to be on the podcast or in the playoffs. And here we are. We're back. Like nothing happened. Case, I think I'm pretty lucky. I'm facing a very depleted Spades team. No Henry, no Mixon, no Commanders. He still has guys. So where, if you're looking at Spades' roster, do you see potential for more boom than his depleted roster might anticipate?
Well, I mean, I don't really like his roster very much at all, honestly. Like, if we rewind back, like we were talking about how deep his roster was, how he was the most prepared for any sort of roster shakeup. I don't think anybody looked this far out. He's relying on that trade deadline move, bringing in Jacobs and Kelsey to fill out a roster where he's got several dart throws at the top. Goff's a fine substitute quarterback in Green Bay on Thursday night, but Devontae Smith off a hamstring, Warren in that backfield, that's, you're hoping for probably 10, 15 points there. So I like Mike this week. Mike, you're fully loaded. And with your trade deadline, now you can get Hubbard out and you can fill that in with a more comparable player with what's going on in that backfield with Brooks. So I'll take Mike.
Kiss of death.
I'm going to take myself too. I think you're poo-pooing Spates. I still think Spates is the most prepared team. He's missing his quarterback and 3 starters, and he still has what I would argue is a top 3 or 4 roster this week.
I just don't like it.
Bottom of his totem pole is Jalen Warren. I don't know. If he's playing anybody else, I would pick him. My team's in a good spot right now. I like having 2 guys in that Seattle game. I think having the Arizona weird stack, Kyler and James Conner, and Saquon Carolina, that feels like a start of the season with him against those. I'll take myself too. I'm not going to boom. I'll save my boom for a playoff boom. I want to make our superlatives more in the cluster than this game.
Do you have anything to say about making the playoffs 7 straight years?
No, I've made 1 Super Bowl. Do you realize how unbelievably unreal that is? It's impossible for that to happen.
Yeah,
we gotta name something after you. I feel like I got all these dubious honors.
Steve Van Guso Bowl.
He's just trying to pass the buck. That's all he's trying to do is just get that regular season title.
You get all these dubious honors, and then
I think the consolation champion winner should be the Kaleli Trophy.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
The last
Mike Kaleli consolation game.
The last 2 seasons, I dominated the consolation.
where Mike feels the safest he ever has.
If you're battling for 3rd place in the championship, you don't want to run into Mike Kaleli.
The most valued thing in this league is the 7th pick in the draft. I believe that with deep certainty.
Fights for it.
All right, game 2. All right, when we get to the rest of the games.
Wait, who are you picking?
Myself.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Huge playoff implications. We've got a bunch of cluster games. So I have an app. It's the Fantasy Football Hub or ffhub.com. Don't type that into your work computer. But I can click who we think is going to win, and it shows the scenarios with the last 2 weeks. And the first game that we can get to is very important. If Lloyd wins the second game, he's in. You get to 8 wins in your day and you're in. Let's get to preview Lloyd versus Case, the Red Room Rumble.
The Red Room Rumble. If I type in hub into my phone, the thing will start shooting smoke out the side of it. So I'm not going to.
It goes to page 4. If you type in hub, it just goes to page 4.
Yeah. It's like, why are you typing? You have bookmarks. Number 3, Dan against number 6, Casey. Dan boomed on Casey in week 5, 190 to 143. One of Casey's many blowouts of the week this year. But Casey has outscored Dan the last 2 weeks. I like everything about the matchup. The only thing is that Jordan Love against Detroit, the last time the Packers played Detroit was in Lambeau Field when everyone was saying, oh, the Lions can't play outside. And I don't know if you guys remember it, but they absolutely kicked the Packers' teeth in, including holding Jordan Love to just 11 points. I think that that's going to be a major handicap for Brian Casey. So I'm going to pick Dan in the lock.
Whoa. There's one thing about your position in this game, Case. I hate being in this position. Hate it. Whatever you do on Sunday, Dan has the backstop of Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
How many points do you need to be up by to feel like you're going to win with 2 of his 3 best players on Monday night? 70?
No, optimistically, 45.
No, you'll lose at 45.
Yeah,
a player could have their most like historic night in NFL history and just eliminate you from the season. So you never know what could happen.
Yeah, CD AC joint sprain. I don't think everything's so nice in Dallas. The Jamar Chase is one that scares me more than CD, but he's got both of them. So I would say 45 to feel like I got a shot.
All right.
Did you guys ever sprain an AC joint? You guys ever sprain an AC joint?
No.
I sprained mine. Tom Cataldo fell on me. My shoulders touched, and that was it. The sprained AC joint is better known as a separated shoulder. You guys probably know that a little bit better.
I've done that. I didn't know it's called a sprained AC joint.
Hurts a lot. Yeah. Anyway, so who's playing with that? CeeDee Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb had it.
And Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Good luck.
So you feel like he's limited. The only thing is if I look at the other side, Dan's got, I think Darnold in a pretty good indoor matchup against the Falcons team that's vulnerable. And I love Smith and Jigba. I think that Arizona game is, but a couple rickety spots. So I think, Case, if I'm looking at your team, I think you need to be up by 55 points going into Monday night because I think Chase can do a lot of damage against a really depleted secondary. And you need a big Thursday night. So I think there's this is a bookend game. We're going to know a lot Thursday night, and we're going to know a lot on Monday night. Dude, I picked you 4 times, and I don't think we're keeping track of picks anymore. You have let me down so many times.
Every week.
Case, roll the dice. You know if you play your starters in this situation, you're probably not going to win, right? Like we all agree, he's lined up pretty strong. You got some I'd say just roll the dice. Who gives that?
Why? Who would you put in though? Who would you sub out?
I don't really have anybody else. The thing to remember is that Pete has documented several times. I'm on this I'm up for a week, I'm down for a week. So I just put up 150 something points. So 114 is coming this week. So I need Dan to flop hard. So I'm even picking Lloyd in this one. Just working anything I can. No. I'm going to need a boom-like performance, which I need Jefferson to go off. I need a big night from Amon-Ra. I need Kittle to get in the end zone, hopefully with that weapons going down in San Francisco. I need Evans another touchdown like this past week. I might need a freaking 70-pointer out of Judy this week to get it rolling with Jameis. I need all of it to get in. So because I need to make up points on top of getting a win.
Can you pronounce the player's name that you just picked up in fantasy right before the podcast?
Yes, I can actually. His name is Abanikanda.
Okay. You think he's the solution for week 14 or no?
Pete, if you think about it, I picked up Blake Corum. It's I'll just take a Rams running back, Sean McVay offense, stash him like I'm stashing Kirk right now because I don't think I'm going anywhere. And then he gets picked up off the practice squad by the 49ers. Name another 49ers running back that just is a plug and play, and all of a sudden now they're freaking rolling out 20 points a week. It happens all the time. So there's my dice roll if I get to the playoff. Maybe he's the guy because Mason and McCaffrey are out. And I couldn't get Gorendo, wherever his name is.
This could be a beautiful clip to isolate in the future.
You disappointed me too much.
Anaconda winning the title
Lloyd.
for Casey.
Abikananda.
Give me the Lloyd sweep. Give me the Lloyd sweep. Sorry, Casey, you've disappointed me too many times. I'll be on the Lloyd bandwagon. So
Thanks,
we are predicting a Lloyd victory and a Lloyd playoff berth.
I'll take Spades.
That then gets us to some more very consequential games. Pete, let's get the next one on the board. Can you spoil condescending boys season? Let's get to it. DeLuca, Darian, 9 versus 5. Go.
I'm kind of losing steam with these notes, so I'll make this one quick. Christian, he was above 120 points for 9 straight weeks. Pretty good mark. I know that it's not the magic number, but kid consistently puts up around that spot. His team's pretty healthy. Not a lot of buys other than Pittman. So I'm going to pick him. I'm not going to give out any superlatives. I do want to shout out myself, though. Me this last week losing was the first time that I didn't hit my projected Yahoo score in 9 weeks. 9 straight weeks of blowing out Yahoo projections until last week. So
Yahoo, you need a Yahoo hates me t-shirt. That's somebody
get small victories. It's the little things. Hey, buddy, what's up? You want to say hello? So what up?
Yo, what up, Benny? Benny, what shirt do you have on?
Pokey. What up, Okay.
Well,
Pikachu.
Go to bed. Yep. Go grab.
What's he asking for?
I don't know.
DeVito just picked up Patrick Wilson Jr. Who's Patrick Wilson Jr.?
Patrick Taylor Jr. He's the other guy, the other 49ers guy brought up off the practice squad.
Thanks, Steve.
He's just trying to show that he's at home doing nothing. He's like, "Can I join?"
Yeah, why
he's listening live, and he saw that Abi Kananda wasn't available, so he's like, "Oh, damn!"
He's like, "Oh man, I gotta go make a move on Patrick Taylor Jr."
He picked up Romeo Dobbs just to find out that he's going to be out tomorrow night.
I'm going to take Christian too. Pete, you're in a tough spot this week. You get a couple buys. I still think the bottom of the Darian's roster stinks, but he's getting you on a good week. I'll begrudgingly take the Darian.
Yeah.
I'm taking Pete just out of spite. CGD probably ruined my season 2 weeks ago. If I won that game, I'd be freaking in a much different spot right now. So I'm taking
your fault, not his fault.
Everybody's fault but your own. You're a true Republican.
I'm taking Pete.
Our first actual loser leaves town, Steve versus Kev. The loser of this game is mathematically out. You lose if you're Steve or you're Kevin. Your season is over. Who is going to lose and whose season is over? Let's get to it, Pete.
I don't have a preview at all. I actually really don't care. I'm going to say Steve wins.
Oh, I usually wait for you to walk through it so I can see what the matchups are.
Yeah, you've been exposed. Yeah.
I'll take Breen.
I don't know. Breen put up a lot of points last week against me. He seems like he's still scoring in spite, and he might have the actual NFL MVP on his team in Josh Allen. So there's always potential for a high score. I just think that he hasn't done it for a long time, and last week he probably maxed out. So I'm going to go with Steve. Steve still has a pretty talented roster.
Can I complain about the Vito's team? I scored 157 points last week, and this doofus beat me because Rico Dowdle, who sucks, scored 30 points, and Lamar Jackson, the last drive of the game, had a 40-yard rush and then threw a passing touchdown, and I lost by 5. It was just like
the power of Lamar Jackson to just score 20 points on one series. Yeah.
Who's out this week? So his brand new stack. I think actually hurt his chances with his trade deadline. He traded for a guy that's going to be on bye this week in the must-win game. I'm taking Breen.
Last week it was a Bucky and Rico, and I thought that was a good CBS drama. I'm going to take Breen. I actually kind of like the roster Breen has thrown together here. We're picking him in a week he doesn't have Nico Collins, which has been a dangerous proposition. Without Nico, he's only 1-4 on the season. I just made that up, but that sounded like a great stat.
Great stat.
I think you have to like Josh Allen against the Rams, and I love Guardenia, or whatever his name is. They're going to give him the rock. They don't care if he gets 35 carries. I like Breen. He's my upset this week, and I'm taking DeVito out of the playoffs with this loss.
I like it.
Wow.
Last game. Can we get an upset in the last game? It's Innis and DeVita, a pretty powerful game if Innis wants in the playoffs. Pete, give us whatever preview you want to give us.
I don't really care, and I need an upset, so I'm going to pick Andy. You guys are in it. You guys can talk about more about it. So that's the extent of mine.
Innis is my boom lock combo, or BL, the Bud Light Bowl of the week. I think Jeff emphatically comes up to play. DeVito's roster is kind of a mess. He's got a bunch of random guys in there, and Jeff's roster is very, very strong. So this is Jeff's really first week even without McCaffrey, where he's not dealing with a bunch of the problems. No McCaffrey, no Taylor, and he still has a pretty strong roster on. Does have the double tight end on Thursday night, but I think this is an emphatic win for Jeff, and I'm taking Jeff in the boom and the lock.
Yeah. I like it. When it's big.
Boom.
That was a shocker.
You got too excited there. I knew you.
I was hoping it was Innis because we were just previewing his game. He was gonna.
That was like when the bushwhacker comes in and he comes in the ring and he goes out and I'm like, oh, this is DeVito. Hey,
Steve, you look great, Steve. Look at you. He looks fantastic.
He does.
Yeah. You lost some weight.
I'm like Chuck. Thanks.
No.
Yeah, actually. Thanks.
Good for you.
Really delayed? Is it just
you're very delayed.
Clean shaven.
No.
Is that what it is? Usually when you roll into this thing, you're fresh out of the ice rink and you got like 6 sweatshirts on.
Yeah, you're so delayed. You're so delayed.
Kick him out. He was so delayed. He was so delayed. All right, so are you on track?
I don't
now?
know, Steve. Yeah. Oh, you're so delayed.
No, you're so delayed. Steve, just be on. We'll look at your face. Give us a thumbs up, a thumbs up. Mute yourself. You're
Oh,
so
he's good.
delayed.
He's good. He's good.
Is he back?
Yeah.
Say something, Steve. Say something. Your thumb's not on the screen.
I thought I could only do thumbs up.
Ah, you're back. You're back. All right,
Yeah,
so
you're back,
Steve,
you're back.
we just ran through the games, and because we had 3 people, our consensus picks, some are 3-0, some are 2-1. We have Dadarian over DeLuca, Kaleli over Spates, Innis over DeVita, Lloyd over Case, and Breen is an upset over you. Any of those picks that you're like, no chance, you guys are dead wrong.
Oh, this is painful.
I saw him blink.
I actually have Pete. I have Pete in the upset.
Whoa!
That was my difference.
I picked Pete out of spite.
I actually Pete. I have myself too. So everything else I have correct except I have Pete and me.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so the reason I said that, Steve, welcome. Good to see you. Hope hockey was good. If the way that we projected it out plays, the top 4 that we're going to get coming out of week 14 would be me, then Spates, then Lloyd, and then Innis at 7-7. If we move things around, if you say DeLuca upsets Christian, that doesn't shake the top 4. The only one would be if somehow the Blue Bloods beat Innis. So if all things hold, we're going into the final week of the season with the chosen ones, the Griggs, the Orchids, who would essentially clinch, and Innis. And so then that would get us to week 15. Man, that game of the season right there, that Innis Lloyd Bowl, that's a big one in last week of the year.
Yeah. I'm excited about it.
And then the 2 big ones last week, those 2, and then DeVito and Dadarian. 2 huge games.
Yeah, I kind of like it that it lines up with me and Andy playing each other because no one really cares.
No.
And then at least CJ and you both get terrible teams with Casey because he's awful. He'll be out of it. Yeah, that works out great.
Like, you better start speaking nice to him to get you that Casey award, $500.
300, first of all. You don't even know what your own price is.
It used to be 500 back when I was winning it.
Yeah, I think the 2. I think if it holds up, the games next week that are going to matter are going to be Lloyd. I'm like me and Dadarian are going to need Lloyd to beat Innis in Case too if he's in it. We need Lloyd to beat Innis in that last week. Innis can't go 2-0 because he's got everyone.
Innis is the guy. Innis controls his own destiny. If he wins out, he's in, and Lloyd's in.
Yep.
How awesome!
Oh, timeout though. Timeout. Oh, geez, Case, you could play spoiler, dude.
If I beat Lloyd, I bring him into the 7-7 hell house that it is. And if Innis wins, that's 3 of us at 7-7. And then if Innis takes him out to get into the playoffs, and Lloyd misses out.
Wow, Lloyd could miss completely.
Lloyd goes 0-2, he could be in trouble.
No, Lloyd could still get in because if he wins, if he loses this week but wins next week, he'd be 8-7. But he has a significant point advantage over everybody below him. He's 200 points up on us, on everybody.
But if he goes 0-2, he's in trouble.
He's in trouble.
Yeah, he needs to go 0-2.
Right.
Guys, I don't think there's a world where a 7-8 team makes it.
No.
I don't know how the wins and losses shake out, but who knows?
I think the only person that could shoot for it is Innis.
Yeah,
right. This could be 7-8 in the 4.
I need to. Yeah, me, Steve, and Breen would all need to win out to even factor in because of the point differential.
Christian too. Christian's got to win.
Oh, he's only 7 points above me or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, if Christian wins out,
I don't factor him in. He's out of sight, out of mind.
I don't know if he wins out.
Well, if he wins, he's in the same spot as
The hell was that?
I think he still needs Innis to lose 1 of 2, even if he wins out.
Oh, I found a way it can get to 8. The only way it gets to someone is 7-8. Wow, you could technically get 2 7-8 teams in.
Lloyd loses both.
Lloyd loses both. DeVito loses both. You'd have to win Pete. It would have to go Pete, me, Andy would have to win this week. Case this week would have to be a ton of upsets.
We'd have to have all the podcasts would need to win.
It's a week full of buys too, dudes. Could happen.
Gotta have
a lot of scenarios. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of scenarios.
So we gotta have a podcast win and a DeVita and and an Innis loss would make it very interesting. That would be
awesome.
very interesting.
Let's get final playoff predictions.
Oh man, want to pull the originals?
I think Spates wins the league. Spates is the 1 seed. I'm the 2 seed.
Okay.
I think Lloyd's the 3 seed.
Yeah, I think he's going to win a game and take the 3 seed.
He'll win a game and take the 3 seed. I think Innis sneaks in the 4 spot. I think it's pretty chalk, personally.
See that the problem that I have with Innis is that the McCaffrey injury is that's tough for him. It really is.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, I think CGD is going to sneak in.
I think the Darian is. I'm with you, Case.
Yep, I think he is because he's got Pete this week. No offense, Pete. You obviously
I'm taken. I'm out.
Care a lot, and then he's got DeVito at the end, and Innis has to go through Lloyd.
See, the thing that scares me with Innis right now is he's got 3 real wild cards at the receiver spot in Hill, Hopkins, and Ridley. Like those guys could easily be 25-point scorers, or they could be 5-point scorers and kill him. And then those 2 tight ends at the bottom are killer.
Yeah.
Clearly,
who you want in the first round?
Doesn't matter.
Get out of here. Who do you really want? You want Lloyd?
In the KC consolation game.
Doesn't matter. I need to score 160 both games. Doesn't matter who I play.
Gotcha. All right.
I honestly think right now I have the best team.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You have the best. You have the best fantasy player. You have
the best fantasy player. I think
you're the worst manager. Yeah.
Worst manager. I cannot win. I have no ability to win. I'm going to lose whoever I play against. My team is very good right now.
What's saving you is that if Lloyd gets in, his head's going to explode, and he's never won before. So you have that going for you. So you want to see Lloyd.
I don't know. How about this? If it's Lloyd and I'm going to call Steve Manguso and see if he'll come on the pod.
He will never come on the pod. He will never come on.
Why?
You got a better chance. You got a better chance of Mike Weber coming on the pod.
Before we go, our next show.
That's a good consolation prize.
Before we go, our next show will be Mike Colelli's last show before he turns 40 years old. You ready for this?
It will. Wow.
What are you doing for it, Mike? What are you doing for 40?
Nothing.
I will have a live present sent to you that I would hope that I want you opening on the air. That's cool.
Just make sure it's here before. I won't open it.
Yeah.
I'll tell Sheila.
Yeah, I have to tell Sheila when it arrives because this kid doesn't check his mail.
I don't. Did you guys know Pete sent me a card one time and he asked me like 4 months later, he goes, "Hey, did you forget this card?" I was like, "No, I haven't." And she was like, "Mike, it's right here. It's been
I wrote him like the nicest card. Like I was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like I appreciate your support and everything." He just never acknowledged it. I never got anything. And I was like writing handwritten cards to people. I was like,
what a dick.
I'm never doing that again.
What a dick.
Mike, can I just go back to one thing? Your prediction. You said you have Spates as the 1.
Yeah.
You don't think you got him in a good week this week?
I think I have Breen in a bad week next week. Breen is. I've had this happen to me before, where Breen beat me the last week of the season, took me out of the first place. It's gonna happen again. Breen's team looks really good next week.
You better start looking at week 16 because you're gonna have Lloyd, and you better start looking at that matchup and getting ready. I think you got him one way or another. You might slip to the 3rd seed, but you got him one way or another.
No. I can't get to the 3rd seed.
Case, I'm surprised you didn't pick up Patrick Taylor.
I went for Robbie Kananda. I think he's going to jump him.
Pete.
He was on the Jets practice squad.
I already looked at week 16. Yeah. Do you know who Kyler plays? Do you know who Kyler plays in week 16?
Carolina, right?
Panthers, dude.
Yeah.
I got Kyler against the Panthers.
I would sell you. I was trying to sell you every angle of Kyler Murray.
Those guys are playing awesome lately.
I knew Kyler inside and out. I was pitching every angle to people. I was like, week 16, he's got the Panthers. You can dominate. Lloyd, no one cares.
Yeah, but see, that scares me because the Panthers are better against the pass than they are the run. So they're going to run down their throats, which is James Conner, Mike.
Concrete Con?
All right. We're done.
All right. I hit the end stream button, and it takes like 5 seconds to end it. So we've been having some awkward goodbyes lately.
You want to pull a joke up?
No, absolutely not. So I'm going to hit end, and it's going to be like 3, 2, 1. But we're always standing around. So you want to say anything?
No, I thought you were just going to hit end.
Wait, hold on. End.